Alright, what's up guys, it's Super here and welcome to another Injustice 2 tutorial, and today we're going to be doing one on the newest DLC character that just released for Injustice 2, Starfire. Now, Starfire was definitely one of my most anticipated characters to play, more so than Red Hood and Sub-Zero, just because I thought she could be a very unique character and have a unique game style. And even though she's not what I expected, I really do think that she has a unique playstyle compared to a lot of different characters in the game. Now, I will say this. She definitely is more of a keep away character than an up close character. From up close, she really doesn't have a lot of pressure. She has good, pokes. She has like one of the best down ones in the game for sure because it could connect into, her special move. This orb right here. I said this orb right here. So with Starfire, I actually play with input shortcuts on, just because like down one into orb is so good for punishes, and input shortcuts helps. That's just me. I started playing with that yesterday and it worked out pretty well. Sometimes you do get annoying things like you're walking back and you get this instead of that. You're walking back and you get that, but I'll sacrifice that for having a nice punish. But like I said, she's more of a keep away character. She has really good zoning. She has this right here, really fast projectile that does 6%, which is good. Of course, her star bolts are her main focus of the character. The star bolts are amazing. Like, they're really one of the best traits in the game, in my opinion, just because they add so much more damage to your special moves, because you could cancel any special move, like this one right here, into the star bolt for extra damage. So I'll give you guys a perfect example right now. I'll go into the tutorial, but I'm just like giving you guys, some little thoughts on Starfire. So let's just say I get an anti-air on Superman. Superman, stop having a nice jump one. Okay. There we go. So, off of a regular anti-air, off of back 2 anti-air, 400 damage. And that's because the Starbolt adds a nice little chunk of damage to anything that you do. So let's just say you punish with 113. 113 into this, Starbolt gives it a huge chunk of damage at the end if you hold it, of course. Now, you don't have to hold it and shoot out the beam entirely. You could actually shoot out normal beam projectiles. And it seems like you get 4 before you have to recharge again. But it's pretty good. They're highs, but they do a good amount of damage. They stagger your opponent. And if you do the charge version, they do 132, which is pretty good. So like I said, she's more of a keep away character than a zoning character. But the reason I like her so much is just because she looks so flashy. She just looks pleasing on the eyes. And I'm not talking about her look as, just the character model, because obviously she's a very good looking character model, but I'm just saying, like, this move right here, hair flip, just the way her hair changes colors with different shaders. I really love Starfire in this game. She's definitely my favorite female character in the game. So now that I got that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about her normal moves. All right, so a couple that I want to highlight here is forward 2. Well, actually, let's go in order, but I'm not gonna like spend too much time talking about each individual thing. So her stand 1 is pretty good. I would say if you want to punish with something, definitely punish with down 1, because down 1 is a 6-frame mid for Starfire that connects into this right here. So as you guys see, 5 hits connects into that for a good amount of damage. Now, I don't remember if this, yeah, so like the reason you don't want to punish with 1-1 is because it doesn't even combo into her, launcher. You can punish with 113 and go into her special move. But, compare that to something like this, and you get a lot more damage for a punish. So stand 1, it's definitely good. I would say I'll get into the combo strength, but 113 is definitely a really good combo ender. It's her best combo ender, and it's a good setup ender. So you could start going for, cross-up setups, because she has a really nice jump 3. So let's move on to her low. Her low I really don't use too much in neutral, but you can use it to throw out this combo string. Back one 2, has amazing range. Look at this. Amazing range. I will say that obviously if your opponent sees you maybe do this, he might jump over you, and this does take a good amount of time to recover, so you better be careful how you use it. It's also a good hard knockdown setup. Hard knockdown setup if you want to try to go for, you know, cross-ups, but I find that 113 works a lot more consistent and it's easier to pull off. Back one, 16 frame low, don't use it too much. Now, like I mentioned, her down one is amazing. 6 frame down one. Whenever you have a 6 frame down one, you can punish a lot of things that a lot of characters are not going to be able to punish. Normally, characters have 7 frame down ones. You know, some have 8 unfortunate ones. But 6 frame down ones are not too common as far as like the general cast. Like there are a good amount of characters that do have a 6 frame down one, but normally it's like a 7 framer or something like that. So the fact that she could combo her 6 frame down one into her main launcher, it really helps out. So not only that, but if you have a wall bounce like this and you punish your opponent with a wall bounce, look how much damage you get. That is a meterless 426 damage off of a wall bounce. So that is really good. 6 frame down one, it's only -3. Really good. You know, compared to Scarecrow, who in my opinion has the best down one in the game, his down one is 6 frames and it's only -2. So just a little bit under Scarecrow's down one, but she definitely has one of the best ones. All right, now stand 2 is going to be your main pressure tool. Stand 2 goes into stand 2-3, which is probably the easiest hit confirmable move of all time. And what I mean by hit confirm, for some of you guys who might not know the terminology, hit confirm means you see a move hit and you do your special move like you normally would. But if your opponent blocks it, you go into a second option that's a lot more safe, because this on block is unsafe. So that's what hit confirming is. You visually see the move and how your opponent reacts to it, if he gets hit or if he blocks it, and then depending on what he does, you do the best option for yourself. So let's just say I go in, I jump in, whatever, or let's just say we're close already. I hit him with down one something, it's my turn, play offense, and I do my stand 2-3. If I see that it hits, I go into my special move. But if I see that he blocks it, I go into my stand 2-3-2. Now they can backdash this, but if they don't, you're actually only -1, and with a 6 frame down one, it makes it a 7 frame down one. So, you know, it's definitely a really good option. You could also, you know, maybe not do anything afterwards, and your opponent might be expecting something. You could also stay safe with the EX hair flip if you want to, if you don't want to risk it, if you see maybe your opponent's doing something about this. But that's what hit confirming is. It's very easy with that combo string. There's a lot of strings that are really hard to hit confirm and visually see and react according to that specific move hitting or getting a block. But this move is really easy. Now, what I would recommend, if you have 2 bars of meter, I would definitely recommend you spend the 2 bars of meter to get the max damage that you can with Starfire, because this actually makes damage scale quite a bit. So I'll show you guys the difference in combos. So this is going to be a 1-bar combo. You know, typical bread and butter Starfire combo. 381 on Superman, who has high defense. So that's 381 damage. About, you know, 40% on the majority of the cast. Now, if you go into a bounce cancel, you're looking at almost 50% damage for an extra bar of meter. So I would definitely recommend that. Now, if you're playing on a stage that has a stage interaction, a wall bounce, I would definitely recommend you go for that option instead. You guys hear me talk about Gorilla City a lot. If you play on Gorilla City, you have that meterless bounce option. So I'll show you guys the difference. Now this is a meterless combo, 441 damage compared to spending 1 bar of meter doing this. Now, of course, like I mentioned, you might not want to go in that route and spend 4 bars of meter, or 4 bars of meter, 2 bars of meter, or you might not have a wall bounce in the stage that you're playing. So just definitely go with this. It's still really good damage, don't get me wrong. You know, 381 damage is still really good. So she does great damage, I will say that. I do like getting hit with her, doing a ton of damage. But stand 2-3, that's your main source of pressure when you're up this close. So let's go on to forward 2. Forward 2, one of my favorite normals in the game. Now it is a high, but the second part comes out really, really fast. So if your opponent is looking for this specific move, like let's just say, for example, there's a lot of times where I like going into Starfire's back 3 meter burn. If it hits, you know, I get a free combo. If it doesn't, I try to go in for this. And that's not really real because it's a high. So anyone could uppercut you out of that specific situation. So let me have... So I'll block it. And as you guys see, it's not real. You know, whenever I say something is not real, it's just because it's, you know, your opponent might not know about it. It's like a little gimmick. But a lot of people get hit by it because they're trying to do a special move. So if Superman tries to do forward 2 afterwards, he's going to get caught by my move because I think Starfire's back 3 is like +5, something like that. And the forward 2 is like 11 frames. So a lot of times people get hit because they're trying to, you know, press something. Stand 1, not going to work. Forward 2, not going to work. Down 1 will work because it's a high. So if you ever have a Starfire like myself trying to get away with these gimmicks, definitely punish that because it's not real. You guys hear me talk about some, you know, gimmicks from Robin. A lot of characters have gimmicks in the game. It's just you need to lab it up and find out how to punish it. So even though it is a high, I still use the move a lot because it has so much range. It's great for whiff punishing moves. Let's go back to Starfire. And the second part comes out really fast. So if your opponent's not ready with that uppercut, maybe he does it a little bit too late, he will get hit by the overhead. The overhead comes out really, really fast. See, that's the negative thing about having input shortcuts on. I'm like walking back, I try to go for my forward 2 and this move comes out. But I'll take that occasionally, you know, like I mentioned, to get this consistently. So yeah, forward 2, use it a lot unless your opponent is, if your opponent is doing something about it, then stop using it. Because it's definitely not worth, you know, keeping it going with this if your opponent is doing something about it. But if he's not, there's literally no reason not to do this because forward 2-2 is -1. -1. So there's no reason for you not to do this if you are actually, if your opponent's not doing anything about it. Look, I mean, look at the range on this. That is like, I don't know, 3 character length. It's so good. And one of the best things about this is, actually I want to show you guys with Darkseid's a little bit better of an example because it's a perfect punish.
Starfire.
Oh, I don't have Darkseid here. God damn it. PS4. I mean Xbox One. Damn it. All right. So, anyways, I have Brainiac here. So I bought the Ultimate Edition on the I pre-ordered on PS4 and I got this game, you know, just I got the game early, so I didn't get a code for freaking Darkseid. But pretty much the gist of what I wanted to tell you guys is if you're playing versus Darkseid, he has a ton of recovery on his laser beams, on his Omega beams. Straight Omega beam from this close, you could punish the hell out of Darkseid players. Now, Darkseid's one of those characters that I personally struggle with. You know, I'm not afraid to admit it. I struggle versus Darkseid players. But if a Darkseid player does his lasers from this range versus Starfire, you could easily get a forward 2 into meter burn back 3 cancel. Now, you cannot do this from max range. You cannot do it from max range. It actually whiffs. As you guys see, you can't do it from max range. But let's just say Darkseid shoots an Omega Beam from here. You duck it on the recovery frames. You punish that ass for... Well, versus Darkseid, he takes more damage. He has a ton of health, but he takes more damage than the average character. But that's around, you know, 52% damage on any character. So this applies in, you know, in any direction. Let's just say you're playing against a Superman and, you know, maybe you backdash his forward 2-3. You could easily punish that with this specific move. Now, if you don't have meter, you know, you could do something like that. You could actually go into this immediately. Let's just say, you know, you backdash that, boom. Punish that ass for whiffing a move. What's wrong with you trying to whiff a move in front of Starfire's face? So that's a perfect example right there of, you know, a great way to use forward 2 comboing into the bounce cancel. It's really, really good. Moving on here to back 2. Back 2 is ridiculously good. But it's not something that you're going to react to. Like I demonstrated early in the video, I'm not going to talk about it too much. But if you think someone's going to jump on you, you could easily anti-air him. If you sort of do it on... You don't have to do it on prediction, but your reactions have to be on point if you're trying to do it on reaction. But definitely be careful with what characters you do this, or you try to do this on reaction for, because characters like Batman are going to destroy you if you try to do that on reaction. And the cool thing about this specific move is you could use it to, you know, continue your combo. Like forward 3. It has a really awkward distance because Starfire gets pushed back, your opponent gets pushed back. So sometimes you're like, oh, what should I do? Like when I first started using Starfire, I was trying to do something like that. You know what I mean? And that's very inconsistent, especially online. So easy. All you have to do is just do back 2. It softens their landing, and then you could easily do a forward 2 into her special move. Any special move you want. You know, it could be her hair flip. Whoops, that was not her hair flip. Her hair flip. You could do any special move you want after that, but the point is, this move is really, really good. Off anti-air, you could get a back 3 off of it. So let's just say your opponent jumps. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I already demonstrated it to you guys. Off an anti-air, you could easily get a back 3 afterwards. And this is great for combo extensions. You know, it's just overall really good tool. It is a high, so you're not going to want to use this like from up close or in neutral. You want to use this as an anti-air or a combo extension. Something like this. But definitely a really, really good string. Her down 2, I'm just not going to go over it. If you're going to anti-air with this. Don't use this ever unless you're doing something like this, which is a nice combo here. Just say you do something like this. That's just a little combo right there. Down 2 for a combo. Really nice. Combos into that. So that's how I use her down 2. I don't use it for anything else. So let's just move on. Stand 3, don't really use it for anything else. But as you guys see, it does have really good range. One thing that I wanted to start doing was go into her meter burn blast, because it guarantees you, if they block it, it actually guarantees you a fully charged Starbolts, which does a ton of chip damage, and it gains you about 1/3 of your bar of meter back. So something like this. Look how much chip damage that does. And if the opponent gets hit by the meter burn version of the projectile, it guarantees you this no matter what, even if they're crouching. It's just the way it works. So this could be good for that as well. This could also be good for, you know, just something like this, a little bit of pressure. This does combo into that, so if you're very, very max range, you could definitely go into that. It'll still work. But stand 3, I haven't really found too much of a good use for it yet, even though it's 15 frames. That's why, you know, it's 15 frames. It's not the fastest button in the world, but it is 0 on block. So if your opponent blocks this, you know, it's set back to neutral. With a 6 frame down one, it's pretty good. Alright, so her back 3 is amazing. One of the best in the game, for sure, because it has so much range. Look at all that range. It's amazing for whiff punishing. It's amazing for, you know, trying to counter another person doing a back three. It's good for, you know, doing it on people's wake up. It's just really, really good. Her back three, amazing. Her forward three is amazing as well because it has like a weird animation. So you could definitely use it to shimmy people, meaning you fake like if you're going to come in to grab, and then guess what? Boom. You hit him with that overhead, and then that leads into this damage right here. Really, really good damage. So both those options are really, really good. All right, let's talk about her jump-ins real quick, because normally characters have just generic jump-ins, but she has this jump 3. Now her jump 1 and jump 2, her jump 1 is good for, you know, meeting people air to air. You could actually convert it if you meet someone air to air. You convert that into a back 2. Didn't demonstrate it properly there because I just don't want to go and make Superman jump at me, but you could definitely, if you meet someone air to air, you could connect this, and then you connect that into a special move. Her jump 2 is pretty normal. It's very shallow, you know. It's you're not gonna want to use this too much unless you know you're in range of it, because there's been many times where I think I'm in range and I end up like just right here in front of my opponent without my jump 2 hitting. Also on the other side, if you're gonna cross up, do not cross up with jump 2. It sucks. But if you know it's gonna, you know, connect, then definitely jump in, dial up your combo, and then, you know, decide whether you want to go into your orb or you want to, you know, stay safe. So jump 1, jump 2, pretty generic, but her jump 3 is very interesting because she could actually flip in both directions. So if you just press the jump 3 button, she has her beam go in front of her body, but if you press behind her, it actually goes behind her body. Now the cool thing about this one, and the reason why I only use the one that stays behind her body, is because you could make the one that goes behind her body stay on the same side or cross up, and it all depends on where Starfire's body is compared to your opponent. So if Starfire's body is not on the other side of your opponent, it's always going to stay on the same side. But if Starfire is on the other side of Bizarro here, it's always going to cross up, even though the blade hits on the same side. So this is why this makes it a lot trickier to know and to, you know, visually see if Starfire is going to stay on the same side or cross up, because you could kind of visually see this, you know, because it has a different animation. But this one right here, that one did not look like, these look like they're not going to cross up, but they do. That crossed up, that crossed up, that didn't cross up, that one didn't cross up, and I still ended up on the other side. So it's very, very tricky for crossover setups. Now the best setup that I found is, let's just say you get a regular combo, back 3. It's a little tricky because if you want like the max plus frames, you have to get the 113 at a pretty high arc. Like, see, that's not gonna work because he's not close to me. You have to get him at a high arc so you could end up here. This is a perfect range because you don't need to walk forward or anything. You could just jump. But when you do it in a combo, it's a little bit tricky. See if I could get it right. There we go. See, that one looked like it crossed up, but it actually did not cross up. But that's where you want your opponent to land, where you don't need to walk forward to actually, you know, hit him with a cross up or stay on the same side situation. Because this move right here is actually a hard knockdown. See, that one crossed up right there. So 113 is a hard knockdown, meaning your opponent cannot roll out of the animation. So I'll show you guys the difference in that, just in case you guys don't know. Roll mode is on. 113 stays there in place. This looks like a hard knockdown, but he still rolls. It's just a long knockdown. So that's why whenever you want to do these crossover setups, you want a hard knockdown because your opponent can't roll out of it, so he stays in place. And if you hit your opponent with something like this, you know, he could roll out of it leaves your mix-up, you know, pretty much dead in the water. So that's why you want to use this. But like I said, her jump 3, amazing. You could even extend it by like holding up or holding down, depending on what distance you want. But I just go with the regular one, because the other one is, it's a little trickier to convert. Now I will say this: whenever you do this, you are giving up your turn if your opponent blocks it. The reason I mean, the reason I'm saying that is because you cannot dial up a combo, meaning you can't keep pressure going if your opponent blocks a stand 2-3. So the way Injustice works, you dial up a combo, meaning you input a combo while you're still in the air, like this right here. I inputted that combo while I was still in the air. It doesn't work with jump 3s. So if your opponent blocks this and you dial up your combo just in case it hits, because you can't really visually see it and react to it hitting, so you have to dial it up at a certain range or at a certain time in order to actually convert it. Because if you visually sit there and wait, especially with online, even if you have the best connection in the world, there is going to be some sort of delay at some point. So you're not always going to be able to, you know, visually see it and react to it accordingly. So you want to dial it up at a certain point. But if you do that and your opponent blocks it, the only thing that's going to come out is nothing or your stand 3. So you're pretty much like giving up your turn, and your opponent can, I believe he can interrupt that. He might not, she might not, because might be scared of continued pressure. But it's pretty much like giving up your turn to try to go for an ambiguous, you know, stay on the same side or cross up setup. But I definitely think it's worth it, because if you do get someone with that setup, you guys saw the damage. It's around 350 damage. If I do get someone with this, yeah, it's around 350 damage, 346. So that is Starfire right there, as far as you know, her normals and some of the mix-ups go. I pretty much covered a lot in that short period of time, so you guys don't have to worry about the video going on for much further. You know, 1-1, it's okay if you're not sure that 1-1-3 is gonna do the trick, and you know, continue the combo. You could always go with just 1-1. You know, guarantee yourself that damage, because sometimes if you do this deep in a combo, sometimes 1-1-3 makes them fall like very, very fast because gravity's been used up. So you don't get the this thing right here, and your opponent wakes up and punishes your ass. So if you're in that situation, you could always go for 1-1. Back 1-2, I talked about this. It has a good amount of range. You could definitely throw that out there occasionally. I still wouldn't use it too much. Stand 2-1. This would be a really good move if it was able to connect into this mid screen, but it's not. So the way I use it is I use the meter burn projectile, because if they block it, it's going to be a lot of chip, and if they get hit, it's going to do a lot of damage, almost 300 damage, and it's a double hitting low. A lot of people get caught by this because, of course, Starfire is a new character, so people aren't used to, you know, all the new stuff yet. But I will say this, you can use this here because this actually grants you a pop-up in the corner. I'm trying to get a forward. Forward 3, in my opinion, is pretty hard to get here. Maybe it's not a tight link, but it's one of those strings, or it's one of those like combos that takes a little bit of practice. So if you don't want to do that, you could always go with this, or you could go with 1-1-3, but I want to show you guys this one. There you go. That's pretty much like the max damage that I found with this. Somewhere around there. I think it's at this one. I don't know if it's this one where... No, it's not this one where you could connect 1-1-3. But you guys get the gist. This is a combo that that I like doing here. Like I mentioned, it does take a little bit of practice. But if you want to keep it simple and you want to guarantee yourself, you know, some damage off of this, definitely go with this. You might want to do it a little bit early, or you might want to go with this. still working out the kinks in some of the combos. But this specific combo string 2-1, I use it with this, and I use it in the corner. 2-1-3, this could also be used in the corner. You could actually convert meterlessly off this, as you guys see, and it's completely safe. So it's a safe option. If you don't want to, you know, hit confirm, this is a lot harder to hit confirm than the other special move. So of course I talked about 2-3, easiest hit confirmable combo string in the game, and it goes into 2-3-2, which is only -1, safe on block. Forward 2 grab, I never use it. I probably should use it a little bit more to side switch, but that's the only reason you want to use this. So if you're around here, and you know, let's just say you get Superman in that, definitely go with this. It's something that I definitely need to work on a little bit more. Remember that she does have a side switch combo, and of course I talked about this, really good. All right, now let's talk real quick about her special moves. I already talked about her blast. She could do it in the air as well. Same thing with her star bolts. She could do that in the air. You know, she could do it very instant on the ground, but I don't know, I'm on my Xbox One controller. I can't do those here. PS4 ones, the directional buttons, in my opinion, are more sensitive, so I can definitely do it there. Can't do it here. Stardust. Now, this is something that I need to work on a lot more with her. This move is really, really good because it doesn't go away on hit. If Starfire gets hit, it does not go away. It has 4 different distances: close, medium, which is just doing the move normally, far, which is pressing forward, and then full screen, which you have to press up for it to go full screen. Now, if your opponent blocks this, you are +5 on block, meaning you might be able to get another one of these out. And then your opponent, if he blocks it again, get one of these out again. And if they get hit by it, how much does it do? It does 8% damage, and it's plus, let's see. Let's just go with the regular one. It's plus 28, meaning that, you know, you could start zoning, or you could do whatever you want afterwards. You could throw out another one. So it's very, very, very good, and it's something that I really need to start using a lot more when I'm trying to zone characters, because you throw this out there, you know, it stays active on the screen. So if your opponent's trying to meter burn dash, or, you know, just dash forward, and you throw one of these out in the right ranges, he's gonna get hit by that. And guess what? You're plus 28. You could, you know, throw another one of these out, or you could start zoning. Maybe you could even come in, you know. So definitely use that, guys. It's very useful. I just need to do a better job myself using it. Of course, I talked about the meter burn version one. It's her main combo starter. Whenever you don't have a wall bounce or a meter burn back 3 bounce, really, really good damage. She has this move right here, which is, I think, the most damaging thing to do. Let's see. So that does 400 damage. It's about the same. I think that's still the most damaging, right? Nah, they're about the same. Yeah, like by a slight bit. If you really want to, you know, max out all the damage you could get on little hits, because you're not gonna be able to get that off, you know, something like this, because too much gravity is used up. She goes backwards. But if you do something like this, and you just want quick damage, you know, it's a good option. It's also a good option if you want to wake up, but keep in mind you can't get hit out of it. But if you meter burn it, it's actually completely safe. So that's definitely a positive for this specific move. Let's see, what else do we have? She could do it in the air, of course. It would actually be, now that I'm thinking about it, a good way to escape the corner. Yeah, sort of like Firestorm's torpedo. This is a good way to escape the corner. It's just fucking thought about that. I mean, I'm sure everyone thought about that. I'm just slow. I'm slow. Burning Desire is her hair flip move. The regular one, don't really find the use for it, other than, you know, sometimes you could definitely be a little stylish and go for this. You know, I'll show you guys a full combo. You go a little stylish with that. Mix up your combo a little bit. It actually does a little bit more damage than the other one. But other than that, it's her only invincible wake up. So that is where this specific move is meant to be used. On Wake Up, if your opponent knocks you down, completely invincible. So that means if your opponent's attacking you, when you wake up with this, it's going to go right through her. And if you meter burn it, you stay safe. So that's a positive. And it's an overhead. So some people might be blocking low. You get hit by this overhead, you know, your opponent gets knocked down, you could dash up, or you could go back and start zoning, whatever you want. Hair flip, really good. And of course, you know, you could cancel her hair flip into her star bolts, as you could do with everything. Shooting star is this move, one of my favorite moves in the entire game, just because I love the way it looks. She's like spinning around, she looks like she's having the time of her life, and the lights look awesome. I really, really like this move. It could connect from anything. So if you do want to punish with 113, boom, into star bolts. It's just awesome. It's her best combo ender for the most part. For pretty much every situation, it's her best combo ender. And you could connect it into star bolt, a ton of damage. You could also use this as her wake up, but you have to be very careful. It's very slow startup, but once it starts up, it has a hitbox where the lights on her back actually have a hitbox as well. So it's still pretty good. It's 9 frames, but I guess people could stuff it a lot easier than something like this. I guess because she goes airborne. But I had this stuffed a lot. I've definitely stuffed people trying to do this a lot as well. But it's still good. Ooh, one thing that I want to mention for you guys who might struggle versus that move. I want to show you guys this. Because it's something that I had to learn the hard way by coming into the lab. Alright. So I'm going to make Superman block here. I'm going to have my attack go. And I'm just going to block as Starfire. So watch me try to punish this move when she lands. It's impossible. It's almost impossible. She's always going to be in her airborne state. You are not going to punish Starfire on her landing frames. See, she was still airborne there. So the best thing to do to guarantee yourself a punish is to just down 2. Just down 2. Because she could also, you know, cancel into Starbolt. But if you're trying to punish her when she's on the ground, see, she was still in the airborne state right there. And you're left with like the same situation. So, you know, I found that the best thing to do is just to do an uppercut. Guarantee yourself that damage. Guarantee yourself the punish, because if you're waiting for her to land and you have a punish ready for when she lands, and then you hit her airborne, it's going to screw up your entire timing for that specific combo that's meant to be punishing someone on the ground. Because punishing this chick when she lands, it's impossible. She like recovers so fast. It's sort of like the rising air grab from Superman before. It was so hard to punish when he landed. See, even a down 1, like I'm trying to do it when she lands. Yeah, it's impossible. So I would just recommend, you know, something like this. Guarantee yourself damage. Just uppercut her out of the air and get your guaranteed damage. All right, let's go back to Starfire here. What else do we have? Of course, she could air dash, forward dash, all that good stuff. Her super hits low. It doesn't go completely full screen, but I'll show you guys. It goes like 3/4 of the screen. It's pretty fast. You could, you know, connect it into any combo. And last but not least, her star bolts, which we already went over. Amazing, amazing trait. I still wish that she had her flight as her trait. I'm not gonna lie. I think it would have made her more fun. But this makes her a better character, I think, because her star bolts being able to be canceled from any of her attacks is just great, man. It's amazing. So not much to be said. If you try to zone with her star bolts, normally it's kind of like zoning with Supergirl, just that with slower projectile. But the thing is, you could actually fully charge her projectile, and it doesn't take away your full trait like Supergirl's does. And these also do a ton of chip. They build, like I said, if your opponent blocks the entire thing. Let's see, where are my bars here? It builds like 1/3 of your bar, maybe a little bit less. So if you get someone in something like this, you know, you build almost an entire bar back. If your opponent blocks standing and he blocks this standing, the entire thing, even though you could duck all this, the projectile, and you could still even duck that. If he's respecting that, look how much chip that builds. But the real way to do it is to meter burn that, because once your opponent gets hit by the meter burn projectiles, you're guaranteed a star bolt afterwards. Alright, so other than that, I think that's it. You know, you could meter burn it, or you could do it in the air. You could meter burn it for a little bit extra damage, and it turns into a mid, which is pretty cool. You could meter burn just the regular one as well, so if you don't want to waste a lot of your starbolt meter, you could just do a regular one and meter burn it. Still does 135. You could do the entire thing in meter burn. I think it does 180. If you do it like right at the end, yeah, 184. So that's about it for Starfire, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I showed you guys some combos. Let's see if I can get this stupid combo again. So if you do like think someone's gonna wake up and you want to meter burn forward 3 them, definitely do this. I found this to be the most damaging combo that I found so far. 500 damage off of 1 bar. If you get your opponent with this, pretty much the same concept. But you want to do a down one instead, because if you do a 1-1-3, like I mentioned before, she's gonna go up in the air, and you're not gonna be able, and your opponent is gonna stay on the ground, and he's gonna punish you when he wakes up, because she's like recovering, so he could down 2 your ass. Another combo is this one. This one just looks really cool. See, that's a perfect example right there. You could definitely do that though. See, you could definitely do that, but you have to be on point. So if you want to like completely stay safe and still have a cool looking combo, do a lay down one into that. It does a tiny bit less damage, but it'll be consistent. So that about does it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Starfire tutorial. This one was a long one because I have fun just talking about Starfire. I really love Starfire. I needed a character like this to come around because she's a lot of fun, man. There's a lot of characters in the game that I like Joker, Swamp Thing. These characters are low tier. Starfire is definitely not low tier. I'm not saying she's top tier or anything, but she has a lot of tools to compete versus pretty much any character in the game that I've come across. The only ones that I've really struggled with have been Darkseid and Supergirl. Those 2 characters I have really struggled playing versus as Starfire. But other than those, I've pretty much, you know, and Green Arrow, because Green Arrow could, you know, shoot his projectile under Starfire's projectile. It's very annoying. So those 3 characters are like my kryptonite when it comes to playing as Starfire. But other than that, I've had a lot of fun with this character. I just feel like playing her more and more every time I play her. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the long ass tutorial, and I will see you guys next time.